Hello, everyone. It's great to be back. Something has been very concerning to me, and that is, we are not getting the basics right as a people of South Africa. The president himself, Cyril Ramaphosa, he's not getting the basics right. When you hear that 81% of grade four learners cannot read for meaning, that is a very big problem. 81% of grade four learners cannot read for meaning. I mean, it's a shocker, and it is something that we have to address as soon as possible. President Ramaphosa was at an education conference here in Sentin last November, and guess what he spoke about? He spoke about decolonizing education. He spoke about racism, introducing robots in our public education. Meanwhile, young people, and by the way, let's be frank here, these are young Black people in grade four. They cannot read for meaning, right? We can't really have an environment like that if we want to create a competitive society. By the way, other emerging markets are outperforming us when it comes to educational outcomes. Look at even poorer countries in the African continent; they outperform us when it comes to educational outcomes in basic education. It's a very big problem. We are underperformers. And if we don't address this issue, we will continue to lag behind in the emerging markets. And who do we have to blame? It's ourselves, because we haven't really prioritized the fundamental issues that we should start with. And look, the president goes around speaking about smart cities, speaking about bullet trains. Meanwhile, we have the basics that are very important, that are at the foundation, and we are not getting them right. And that's a very big problem. So what do we do to address this? What are the key things we could do to address this fundamental problem in our education? Well, we need to, of course, promote, encourage the growth of independent schools, low-fee independent schools. That's very important. In fact, independent schools have been growing over the past 20 years, and that's a positive. We have to ensure that we have very much strongly trained teachers. I think this is very important. Teachers who can read and do the mathematics, who are well equipped to teach young people. We have to, of course, get parents engaged in their kids' education. That's very important. The home must be a home where education is taken seriously, and parents are involved in their children's education. Of course, school governing bodies, that's very important. We need to ensure that they maintain the power, and they do have the power to reform their schools and their communities. That is very important. That we get those basics right. We need to get education right. Let's stop talking about things like smart cities and so on. When we have young people at grade four level not being able to read for meaning, we can't have that, fellow South Africans. We cannot have that. We have to address it as soon as possible, because really we are not going to become a competitive society if we fail to get the basics right, and that is having young people being able to not lagging behind, in contrast to other young people in other emerging markets, being able to read for meaning, being able to do the mathematics at a level they should be doing it, not lagging behind. We need to get those basics right. And people like Cyril Ramaphosa, they are getting this thing entirely wrong. They should be starting with the basics, because if we want to close the gap if we want to address the inequality problems, then guess what? If we fail on education, then really we're not going to make much progress. We have to get education right for Black people, right? If we want them to climb the income ladder, right? And to be competitive, we need to equip them with the right education. So let's get the basics right. That's very important.